Single injector amperage testing. To current ramp injectors, I will be using this amp clamp. I will select the first setting, which is 100 millivolts equals 1 amp. With the scope on, press the 0 button to zero the clamp and the scope before clamping it around any wires. Remember, amperage doesn't matter which wire you're on because amperage is the same throughout the circuit, so I can clamp around either wire. You just have to make sure the amp clamp is completely closed. The other thing is, if your waveform pattern is upside down, you can use the invert feature on the scope or just take the amp clamp and flip it around on the wire. Let's measure the amperage of a single injector, so let's come back over to our menu. Let's go down to our presets. Let's go down to our user setups, and we need to find the one that I preset that covers my injector amperage. And here we go. Injector amperage for one injector. Press and hold the button down until it turns to green. That will load everything all ready to go. Let's go ahead and hook up to the car and start the engine. Let's make our measurement. If the pattern is upside down, let's flip the amp clamp around on the wire, and that will invert the pattern. The pattern is jumping around on the screen, so let's make a modification to this preset, which is something we sometimes have to do. Let's come back over to the trigger. Let's raise the trigger value. And we now see the pattern stabilizes on the screen. We can now take a look at our reference file, and it's kind of small. I like the new settings, so I'm going to press the B button to save the new settings. That will save as number 51, so I'm going to write that down so I can have a new reference file for this preset. If I want to spread this pattern out for a closer look, press the A button to hold the pattern on the screen. Now I can change the time sweep to a smaller value so I can get a better look at the waveform. And right there is the pinto bump. There is one more thing I can do. Let's take it off of hold and change the time sweep back so the pattern is stable on the screen. I think I would like to add some meters. Navigate to the menu, then down to meters, and instead of viewing frequency, I think I would rather view minimum and maximum amperage. I can now see the minimum and maximum amperage without adding cursors. I can see the maximum amperage is around 12 amps, but since I'm using 100:1 scale, this is actually 1.2 amps. You may have spotted this, but I just took a closer look at the scope screen and I spotted a glitch in the Uscope. The Uscope has 8 graduations shown from -2 to +14 amps for a total of 16 amps. The 10 amp scale is per division, which would allow up to 80 amps. This setup should be displaying 2 amps per division instead of 10 amps per division. Because of the 100:1 multiplier and the selection on the amp clamp, the scale range is actually -0.2 to 1.4.